A mouse who always lived on the land, by an unlucky chance formed an intimate acquaintance with a frog who lived for the most part in the water. The frog, one day, intent on mischief, bound the foot of the mouse tightly to his own. Thus joined together, the frog first of all led his friend the mouse to the meadow where they were accustomed to find their food. After this, he gradually led him towards the pool in which he lived, until reaching the very brink, he suddenly jumped in, dragging the mouse with him. The frog enjoyed the water amazingly, and swam, croaking about as if he had done a good deed. The unhappy mouse was soon suffocated by the water, and his dead body floated about on the surface, tied to the foot of the frog. A hawk observed it, and pouncing upon it with his talons, carried it aloft. The frog, being still fastened to the leg of the mouse, was also carried off a prisoner, and was eaten by the hawk. Harm hatch, harm catch. This is folk tales for grown folks. That was an Aesop fable called The Mouse, the Frog, and the Hawk. A translation by George Fowler Townsend. And I am Brother Hot Tim. And man, oh man, as I say, these folk tales are not just for kids. Now, we got a frog who for some reason want to play too much. You ever been around somebody that just like to play just a little bit too much? And it's almost as if they don't really realize that they are hurting others by their play. You know, I mean, you can see this a lot with teenage boys. You have one boy who may have grown a little bit bigger than all of his peers, and may even have big brothers, and not even know that what he considers playing is really painful to everybody that may not be his size. But we can also see this in the workplace. We got individuals who play too much, and their little jokes or whatever, the little playing puts you in a situation where you can really lose your job. You can lose your livelihood. You can see this with customers. You know what I'm saying? They tie themselves to you, and then all of a sudden they want to drag you down into the depths. You know what I'm saying? You see this everywhere. This is that playful hate. You know, I call myself a hater, but this is that playful, dangerous hate that causes others harm. Now, those that play oftentimes don't really realize the ramifications of what they're doing. Like this frog. This frog tied himself to this mouse, and the mouse, you know, thinking that it's a good idea because they're friends. The mouse has an intimate relationship with the frog, but the frog don't have an intimate relationship with the mouse. As a matter of fact, their relationship, according to the frog, is so distant that the mouse can drown. And you know this mouse was screaming. You know this mouse was fighting, trying to get air. And the frog was so oblivious to the needs of the mouse that he killed it. Now, unbeknownst to the frog, is this thing called reciprocity. Unknown to a lot of people that play in the way that they play and do harm to people, there's this thing called reciprocity. Those of you out there understand that this story is about reciprocity. You get what you give. And in the universe, everything we do is in a sense a seed, and that seed brings back a harvest. And that frog harvested harvested everything that he deserved. He drowned the frog to death, He pulled the frog he pulled the mouse into the water until the mouse died, and then the mouse ended up being the very signal that got the frog caught. Now, also, this brings up another point for me. Friends and acquaintances that we have intimate relationships with, are we compatible? See, Aesop was dope. Everybody that's in your life, y'all should have some type of compatibility. The frog and the mouse were not compatible friends. The frog lives on land and in the water. So that means that 50% of his time he could only spend with the mouse. 50% of his non-hustling time he could only spend with the mouse. The other 50% he had to be in the water. He got to go to the water. The mouse, on the other hand, spends 100% of his time hustling and everything on the land. Many of us do like this mouse. We develop intimate relationships with individuals. And when I say intimate, I mean close relationships. Alright? He developed an intimate relationship with somebody that he was not compatible with. And it ended up taking his life. How many of us are in some type of incompatible relationship in our life? And we really need to be, this takes courage, because we really have to look and be like, look, we're incompatible. You know what I'm saying? We see the world totally different. You know what I'm saying? And I got a feeling that you might be trying to drag me in the water. And they're going to look at you like, what you talking about? Oh, you've been listening to that folktales for grown folks. Listen. Be careful who you surround yourself with, because the mouse thought that the frog was a good friend. The frog may have really just truly been oblivious. He could have did it on purpose, but that frog could have been just oblivious to the fact that him and the mouse were not compatible at all. Alright, this is Brother Hatim saying, I can't wait to hear what your comments will be about this story. I really can't. And like I said, I still got the offer out for anybody who has a story that they wanna hear. They wanna hear. I don't have no problem doing it. No problem doing it for you. So I will interpret it. I'll read it. Just send me an email link and I'll find it and we'll talk about it. You know, I like Aesop. I'm going through Aesop fables now, but we don't have to be stuck on Aesop. Also, anybody that's bold enough to make an MP3 or a recording of, it could be MP3, it could be Wave, it could be whatever format, because Spreaker takes them all. If you email it to me and it's like 5 minutes, I'll give you 7 minutes. If it's between 1 and 7 minutes, the story and your breakdown of the story, I will gladly play that. You know, also feel free to leave comments. Make sure you check me out at www.geometryjourney.com. Also, you can leave comments on Spreaker, or you can join me on Facebook for Folktales for Grown Folks or Geometry Journey. Also on Google Plus, Folktales for Grown Folks or Geometry Journey, either one. But you know, just check me out. Let me know what you think about the folktales. And like I said, there's thousands of different ways we could look at that. You never know who your wisdom may help. This is Brother Hatim saying peace. And I pray that your day will be as beautiful as you are.